What's going on YouTube? So today I'm going to be doing an in-depth Bennett support guide, and I'm going to try and give you the best build for him in terms of weapons, artifacts, talents, constellations, stuff like that. The main reason why I'm making this is because over the past few weeks and with his growth in popularity, he's become my primary healer and possibly, in my opinion, the best support in the entire game, besides Venti, but that's just my opinion. And second, the reason why I'm making this is because he's currently on Albedo's banner. This is a must summon, really, until you get his C1. And also Fischl and Sucrose are god tier 4 stars, so just keep that in mind. Yeah, so I want to show you just how insane his ult attack boost is to the whole team. So if we look at our stats so far, the 1000 attack on Bennett, 590 Jinku, 1400 Venti, and 1750 and Kaching. If I use his ult, his attack got boosted over 600, almost 700. And then Jinku, Venti, and Kaching all went up about 100, and that's because of the Noblesse set I'm using. But if I switch to Jinku within this circle, you can see that his attack has doubled now. If I switch to Venti, his attack has gained about 600. And if I switch to Kaching, hers gained about 700. So this is just kind of showing you how much damage increase you get from Bennett's ult, and it's ridiculous. But yeah, that's just my short little intro for Bennett. Let's now get into the build. So in terms of building Bennett, I would recommend you get him to level 60 or even ascend him at level 60. This is just because you can kind of maximize the benefit of his heals and attack boost from his ultimate. In terms of his build, you really want to mainly build him for energy recharge. This is to keep the uptime on his ult pretty much almost whenever you need it. Usually takes me, with 218% energy recharge, it usually takes me like 2 to 3 max uses of my E to get his ult back. You can build him with some HP stats if you want. I really don't think you should, just because he heals so fast anyways. And I'm missing some key artifacts for him that would make his crit rate go up as well. But yeah, mainly you want energy recharge, and then after energy recharge I would go for crit rate, crit damage, and then attack. You can do elemental mastery if you want, but I don't think you need it. As of right now, I have an elemental mastery headpiece, and I really need to change that. So in terms of weapons for Bennett, you definitely want an energy recharge substat sword. I think that the Favonius sword is the best in slot for Bennett, in my opinion. People will argue that the 5-star weapons are, but in terms of not only the substat, but the ability that this sword has, I think it's the best. That's just my own opinion. You can agree or disagree, but this is why I want to get my crit rate up, because when you hit crits with this sword, it actually will generate 6 elemental particles for him, which will in turn maximize the efficiency of the uptime of his ult. So you'll pretty much be cycling through your ult insanely fast. If I had like 50 or 70% crit rate, I would be even faster with getting my ult back. But some other weapons you can use 5-star swords. So the Skyward Blade has energy recharge. You can do the Aquila Favonius if you want higher base attack, but I wouldn't recommend that. If you're going to go 5-star, I would do Skyward Blade. Yeah, in terms of 4-star weapons, I think that Favonius sword is the best in slot for him. That's just my opinion. And I think second best would probably be Sacrificial Sword. The reason I think it's second best is because, again, it has energy recharge substat, but it also has a chance to reduce or to reset the cooldown for his E ability. The reason why it's not the best for Bennett anyways is because his E takes about 3 or 4 seconds to recharge anyways, so it kind of defeats the purpose of the sword itself. It's better on someone like Jing Chu or someone who has a longer cooldown. And the third one that you could use is the Festering Desire. This one, again, is a good sword, but it doesn't have as high of... See, this is a level 60 Sacrificial Sword. It has 45% energy recharge, and this is level 80 Festering Desire. It only has 41% energy recharge, but It would increase the damage and crit rate of his E, but that's not really necessary for the build because what you're trying to do is increase the rate at which you get his ult. So I don't think Festering Desire is even top 2. I think it would be Favonius Sword or Sacrificial Sword. If you don't have any of these energy recharge 4-star swords, you can use the Skyrider Sword. This is an energy recharge sword as well, and using your ultimate will grant an attack boost and a movement speed boost, but I think it's only to Bennett, so it won't really maximize for your team, but still a good option if you don't have anything else. So in terms of artifacts for Bennett, I really truly believe that the best support build set of artifacts is a 4-piece Noblesse build. Not only does this increase the damage of his ultimate, but anytime he uses his ultimate, it'll increase the attack for all party members by an additional 20% for 12 seconds. So on top of the attack boost that he's already giving from his ultimate, they'll get an additional 20% attack boost. And you can see some of the stats from my artifacts. They're not very good. They're okay. They're not the best though. I really need to get higher crit rate and crit damage pieces. I got an energy recharge piece, which is good with some crit rate, which isn't bad, but like here I haven't even leveled up my goblet at all. And then this is an elemental mastery headpiece. I'm only really keeping it because of these substats, but I need to get like a crit rate headpiece for him. But I strongly highly suggest Noblesse. If you can't get the Noblesse, I think the next best in slot would be, you could do 2-piece Exile or 2-piece Scholar, which will both give you energy recharge, and then you could do 2-piece Noblesse if you want, but try and work your way to a 4-piece Noblesse. I think it's the best support build you can do for Bennett. I wouldn't recommend the Maiden's Beloved, just because Bennett already heals insanely fast. You don't need him to be healing for more necessarily. It heals at such a fast rate that you generally don't even have to increase Bennett's HP. It's so insane when you're healing. And then if you were to build like a DPS Bennett eventually, I would go with the Crimson Witch of Flame set, but yeah, that'll be it for his artifacts. In terms of constellations for Bennett, he's still a really good support at C0, but he truly shines once you get to C1. I know everyone talks about this, but it really is true. His C1 essentially removes the HP threshold that you need in order to get that 20% additional attack bonus. So normally when you use his ultimate, you wouldn't receive the attack boost unless your character's HP was above 70%. But with his C1, it allows it so that it doesn't matter the HP of the character, you'll get an additional 20% of Bennett's base attack. And again, base attack is this number right here, 516. So I get 20% of that number added to whoever is utilizing his ult. But again, base attack consists of your weapon attack and your character level. But yeah, you don't need constellations for Bennett necessarily, but I would highly, highly, highly recommend getting C1, and especially because you can summon for him right now on Albedo's banner. And this banner is absolutely cracked, guys. You need to get all these characters if you don't have them. I think that these 3 especially are probably, in my opinion, like top 3, top 5, 4-star supports that you can get in this entire game. I think that all of them are useful. That's why I have 0 primos right now. It's because as soon as I get any from doing challenges, I'm dropping my wishes and getting these guys. So I only have C2 Bennett right now, but I have like C3 Fischl and C2 Sucrose. So I would highly recommend it, because like even look at his C2. His C2 is even insane. When Bennett's HP falls below 70%, his energy recharge is increased by 30%. And if you think about the way his ult works, you can't even heal past 70% HP. So this kind of feeds into what Bennett is really good for. But yeah, definitely pull for him right now if you can. The banner still has like 9 or 10 days left. You need to get him if you don't have him. All right, so moving on to talents. You really, in terms of talent levels, you really only need to level up his Fantastic Voyage, his ultimate. I would highly suggest maxing this out first, and even spending these resources, the plumes, once you get them. Level 7 is still really insane in terms of the attributes you get. I get 84% attack bonus from his ultimate, plus the 20% from Noblesse, plus 20% of his base attack from C1. So it ends up being like over 100% attack bonus. And then the health regen scales off of his max HP. Yeah, after you max out or get as high as you can on his ultimate, you can invest some of your resources if you have extra into his E ability. I wouldn't recommend investing a lot. I've only gotten it to level 3 just because I had a couple extra green books lying around, so I did that. And then I would recommend not leveling his normal attack at all unless you're building him to be a main DPS. In terms of team comps for Bennett, I think that the best is to use 2 Pyros for the elemental resonance, but he really can work with any comp. His main cons as a support is that he can't heal past 70%, and you really need his Constellation 1 to receive the most benefit from him. But he's still really good even at Constellation 0 with just the Noblesse Oblige set. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.